Hello and welcome, everyone, to the ISCA Saturday Cup and Super Cup Series. And guess what? We have a champion to crown here this lovely Saturday evening. 4 are going to come onto this racetrack, and only 1 is going to leave as your champion. Of course, Super Cup season, like I mentioned, drawing to the close, and that is a long road that these guys have been on to get there. Of course, my name is Brian Britt, and I'm joined in the booth by Big Al. How you doing this evening?
Hey, doing pretty good, Brian. Excited to be back in sunny Phoenix where somebody is going to drive off into the sunset with a championship. 4 drivers going to be contenders. And I'm wondering, since 3 of these guys are on the same team, if that's going to be even in the conversation or if it's just going to be all about oneself.
Well, I mean, I know for a fact these G&G guys, I mean, of course, they're very good teammates, but I'm pretty sure they're going to race each other pretty dang hard. I mean, Kenny Powell, he wants that title. Chris Severa wants that title. Chris Johnson wants that title. Of course, Jose Acosta, kind of the odd man out, not in the G&G camp. But I feel like he still has a legit shot, but not looking too quick when it comes to practice right now, which is kind of concerning. But I know from Thursday, Kenny Powell was really, really fast on the long run, especially in that last stage. So I actually am somewhat, got an eye on Kenny Powell. I think that he has a legit shot tonight.
Well, I think everybody has a legit shot as we are starting to wrap up practice and getting ready to go into qualifying. These guys just are going to have to make certain that they are available. This is the one time where you absolutely have to be available at the end of this thing in order to win it. But guess what? No one else is going to just lay over and play dead and let these 4 go at it. So they're going to have to navigate through this field. And I'm going to tell you another thing that's going to be powerful. That's going to be where they qualify. Track position on this racetrack, Brian, primo. So those 4 championship guys are going to make sure that they can get one of those in pit stalls, because your pit stall could actually equal your championship.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it definitely very big if you're able to have that position. And I really don't even want to say who has the best shot here, just because of the fact that you can still make mistakes when it comes to pit roads, things and stuff like that. You end up speeding, you miss your box. We saw Clayton Hoffman on Thursday, miss his box, lost a second of time just based on that. And also, Clayton was the easy call on Thursday, and it did not turn that way at all. I mean, Mark Pageant ended up bringing home that championship. So I'm real apprehensive of saying who I think is going to get it. I mean, I definitely have a lot of faith that Kenny Powell might be able to bring it out. Chris Severa, known for being just really, really fast always. But look at Chris Johnson. I mean, right now he's qualified in second place, I do believe. We'll have to see what that can do. I mean, and, you know, like you said, non-playoff drivers could come into play also. I mean, Kendall LeBron right now holds the pole.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be 156 laps of premier racing. And for those guys that are in the championship, you know, they're just going to have to make good choices and the best decisions that they can. The best decisions that they've made all season long, that's what it's going to come down here tonight.
100%. Well, we see the race facts now up on the screen here. Of course, this race is sponsored by Farmers Insurance, or the series, I should say, is sponsored by Farmers Insurance. But the race actually vote 2022, so definitely get out there and vote on Election Day, and definitely got to take care of business when it comes to that. Your words, your voice definitely means a lot. But 156 laps here tonight, stages 30 and 60, 6 tire sets, 5 actually down in the pits. 65 laps is the fuel window, and we've pretty much seen that being dead on with what the actual fuel window is, and tire wear is going to be quite substantial here tonight. I mean, we've seen some track conditions, we've seen it even falling off to 2 seconds or more.
Absolutely, and we saw greater than 2 seconds even on this racetrack in this series just on Thursday night. So guys are going to definitely have to be very cognizant of what's going on. With that track temp being 93 degrees, 93 degrees, that is going to cause some consideration because that's pretty hot.
Yeah, definitely is. Well, let's take a quick look at the Cup Series points because, of course, the Cup Series and the Super Cup Series kind of run in tandem. Just so everybody knows, this is actually, I do believe, race number 8 in the Cup Series. So Mark Pageant is out front right now. Well, I don't know. This is might actually be from the Thursday series here. So I'm sorry if it looks a little bit confusing. Yeah, I do apologize, but yeah, the Cup Series definitely very tight right now when it comes to points. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Kenny Powell actually out in lead of that. We'll have to take a look at the points here just a little bit later. I do believe we're running out of time here, though, as qualifying is starting to wrap up. Most people have, I do believe, turned their lamps. Kendall LeBron right now at the top of the board as we still have a minute left in qualifying. Very tricky track. One thing we saw, I know, in some other series is that we call was in the dog leg whenever you're running through there. A lot of guys got really loose, but I think that was based on track conditions. Of course, the 93 track temp is going to probably cause the tires to wear out more, but I don't think we'll see that issue that we kind of have seen before.
Yeah, but that track temp, I think that's close to what it was on Thursday, and that was a pretty big deal. I mean, especially on what we saw just in a race that we called last night. So interested to see how this works out.
100%. Well, let's go ahead and take that step away, play our national anthem, and then we'll be right back with your grid.
And you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We have the grid set for this evening's action. Kendall Lavron going to be starting on the pole here. Chris Severa, of course, one of our championship four, going to be starting in second place. Next up, going to be Abner Acosta in third place. Fourth place, Joey Preby. Fifth place going to belong to Jose Acosta, another one of the championship four. Sixth place, Chris Johnson. Seventh place going to be Greg Wachinski. Don Avery in eighth place. Ninth place going to belong to Kenny Powell. And rounding out our top 10 is Thomas O'Hara.
That's going to put Frank Flores in 11th with Darren Mullins in 12th. Brian Johnson 13th. Josh Schaffner 14th. Paul Osen 15th. Gary Adamson in 16th. And Ryan Strunk rounds out this 17-car field.
Yeah, definitely a mix-up of drivers there for the Final Four. I mean, we got Chris Severa, second place. We talked about Jose Acosta. He's sitting fifth right now. He was a little slow in practice, but definitely was pretty good in qualifying. Kenny Powell, of course, back there in ninth. I do believe Chris Johnson, where is he starting? He's actually starting in sixth, so he's going to be pretty close to his old good buddy Jose Acosta. Waiting on these guys to get rolling here. Those should be any time now as we start this championship event, and definitely the culmination of just a long journey that these guys have been on to get here, and to find yourself in the Final Four is an accomplishment all on its own.
Yeah, absolutely, but I don't think we're going to be handing out any trophies for second place, so guys are definitely going to have to bring their A game if they're going to want to get here to get whatever it is that we're offering here. I don't know if there is a trophy or not here, Brian.
I think that they received something. I'm not exactly sure of what it is. I know that Thursday, I think a butt kicker was given out. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's right. Mark Paget won a butt kicker.
That's right. I don't know. This is the Farmers Insurance Series here, so I'm wondering if they're going to give them some insurance. But we're rolling. That means, you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to get this thing started, get this party started, because it's going to be a party.
Absolutely. And I just can't wait to see how this thing plays out. Now, hopefully these guys will get up there and be a little bit racy, as there are stages in this thing here. So hopefully we'll see a lot of good battling here side by side. As 30 laps is about where those tires start to show the best, but you got no reason to save them, Brian, as Kendall Lavron takes us into that Geico restart zone.
Yeah, these first two stages are going to act somewhat of an experiment for some drivers. The drivers that actually did race on Thursday are going to have a unique advantage, just considering, Kenny Powell, he learned a lot, I do believe, on Thursday. Was able to bring home a third-place finish, so definitely good on him. Was even actually almost able to catch Clayton Hoffman and pass him. As the green flag is out for the first time, what a start there for Chris Severa. Just timed it out perfectly for when Kendall went.
And he just pushed Kendall Lavron down a little bit there on the inside. As Severa's making sure that he keeps him honest, keeping him way tight down to the bottom. That's going to give Severa the drive off that he needs. And now look at that. Just like that, he is in the lead.
Yeah, Chris Severa with a big move there. Very smart racing there, pinching Kendall down to be able to get that run and
Kenny Powell
try to drive off.
Kenny Powell had to jump out to the outside just a little bit as he was getting really close to Chris Johnson, sorry.
You see Jose Acosta sitting right now in fourth place. He's our second highest playoff driver right now. Of course, he's got guys battling there right behind him. You see Chris Johnson and Kenny Powell trying to work that.
Oh! And Greg Wachisi gets into the 65 of Joey Preby. That causes everybody to check up. We're really crazy. Preby just a little bit slower on the entrance than Wachinski. Still feeling the effects of that as the 11 checks up, sends the 117 of Thomas O'Hara down below the apron.
And this is really hurting Chris Johnson. He is being the one that's hurt worse by this. I mean, Kenny Powell was able to scoot through when all this kind of happened. Johnson being held up by Joey Preby.
Still plenty of racing left. No harm, no foul. Excellent recovery there by Joey Preby.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a good recovery. That could have turned out a lot worse. Could have been our caution here. Of course, Thursday went caution-free. Hopefully that does, hopefully we'll have the same thing here tonight, but I don't know. Saturday is always a little bit different. See Chris Severa in the lead. He's got about a half a second back to Kendall LeVron as Abner Acosta is starting to put some pressure there on Kendall. And his brother Jose not far back, but look at Kenny go. He is getting some solid runs up here. Take a look through the cockpit camera here at Kenny Powell as he tries to chase down Jose Acosta. You see some information on the side of your screen. Some high speeds on these straightaways here. Not a lot of wheel movement coming out of that 24. And that's what you have to have at this track to not burn the equipment up.
Kenny Powell looks like he's running a fourth gear setup in this car tonight.
It's definitely something he's interesting. We saw some guys even shifting here. So I'm wondering if anybody else is going to be doing any of that shifting there. As we see Chris Severa now driving away now almost a 6/10 here. He's starting to pull away.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to ride along with some of these drivers, especially as we get into that third stage, to start to see exactly the different, not only the different lines that some drivers are taking, but like you said, some drivers are definitely shifting gears. And that also, as these tires wear out, as well as in that third stage, some drivers might even have to do that as Kenny Powell pulls right up onto the back end of Jose Acosta.
And, Joey Preby, who had that issue there with Greg Wachinski, has gotten back up into contention here. He is right there on the back end of Kenny Powell. So Powell probably feeling the pressure now. I got to do something here.
Yeah, but Joey Preby needs to be very cognizant of where he's at because he's got championship drivers all around him. And you talk about a way not to get off of somebody's Christmas card mailing list.
Yeah, definitely the starting to stack up quite a bit. Here comes Preby on the inside, or he's going to try to get to the inside of Kenny Powell. Powell is being held up.
Powell's definitely going to get a little bit nervous there. You know what I mean? He's not going to appreciate that for much longer. These guys already are on pins and needles as Chris Severa continues to run that Fanatec forward well out front, having himself almost a 0.5 of a second lead over P2, which is Kendall LeBron. Here comes Powell on the inside of Jose Acosta. Jose is definitely going to let Powell go, but he needs to make sure that he watches his back door because Chris D. Johnson is also right back there waiting to pounce at the first opportunity.
Yeah, 100%. Kenny Powell able to make that pass look easy. Now Joey Preby goes up the inside, side by side, for that fifth place position. So this is not what Acosta needs right now. He needs to figure out what is ailing that race car and get it worked on now. And
if you remember on last Saturday, he kind of had the same issue there at Martinsville where his car was really kind of fast for like maybe 5-10 laps, then it just fell way off, and I think that's what he's experiencing right now. That's the 48 of Chris D. Johnson now is going to be pulling right up to the back end of the 42 of Jose Severa. Wow, look at that.
Jose Severa.
Ryan Strunk in the 77 way off the pace there. Looks like he got a little bit loose.
Yeah, definitely did. He lost a lot of positions there, falling all the way back down to 10th place behind, actually, further than that, he's falling back to 11th. And that's surprising to me because, I mean, I feel like Strunk was going to be a strong driver, even though he's not in the playoffs. I mean, definitely is known for his short run pace, as he's now going to be trying to get back around Frank Flores.
Yeah, but I think this is a race where you probably are going to need a long race setup here. It's going to be just as important as a short race setup.
Chris Severa has gotten caught by Kendall LeBron, so I don't know what's going on with Severa. Maybe he just paced himself a little bit, maybe not wanting to get too far away so he doesn't burn his equipment up. Definitely would probably be the smart call if I was in Severa's shoes. But then again, I mean, we said the same thing about Clayton Hoffman on Thursday. We were like, oh yeah, he's just saving tire, and that was not the case. So I'm wondering, I don't know what to think here.
Well, I just think that maybe Kendall was in the sweet spot of his setup. But Chris Severa, he's still good. I think he's just doing what he needs to do right now. No sense of burning his tires off.
Yeah, I think a lot of these drivers are just kind of in that follow the leader mode right now. Just kind of hang out, just chill, let whatever happens happen, run your own race. Don't try to chase that carrot. Because we're now halfway through this stage. Of course, stage 1 ends on lap 30 to go into 31. Definitely very impressed with what we're seeing from Joey Preby here. Definitely working his way. Tell you what, we saw a long absence there, Joey Preby, but he's been back lately, and he's been impressing. He has been looking really good in that 65 Sim-Seats car.
Yeah, absolutely. Prior to his departure or his hiatus, he was no stranger to controversy. But since he's been back, you're absolutely right. He has been clean and pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, that's definitely a good way to look at it here. Is Jose Acosta starting to have a little bit of a rebound here. He was holding up a bunch of guys, but I think
Kendall LeBron is hard into the wall. That is not good. Major contact. That's going to bring out a caution. Also, there's no way Kendall LeBron, absolutely the member, the recipient of that dreaded meatball flag.
See exactly what happened here. See Kendall LeBron right here. I think he might have just gotten loose, possibly. Taking a look at this, you see Abner Acosta. I think Abner maybe got into him. Just all of a sudden, I mean, I don't know what happened here. Still, I think I rewinded a little bit too much here. As we see Abner, now he is on the back bumper. He's going to try to go underneath. Kendall comes down a little bit, maybe to block, and just smashes into the outside wall.
Yeah, Kendall's definitely not going to be happy with that one. That's got to leave a mark.
Yeah, very much so. As you see, Abner tries to go underneath, and well, Kendall doesn't really move a lot. I would say that was definitely on the 44. Kendall really didn't come down to try to block it. It just kind of looked like it. I think Abner just did not go low enough, as that is a broken race car now.
Oh, yeah, she toe up.
You hate to see it. Qualified on the pole, now has destroyed that vehicle. Just a sad day there for Kendall LeBron.
Yeah, this is going to change things up a little bit, because what you're going to have now is, hey, everybody's got 20 laps on their tires. There's going to be 22 laps on the tires when we go back green. It'll be 8 to go. So that's going to the gloves are off. It's just going to be a Wild West shootout. I guess that's why it's a good thing that we're out here in Arizona.
Yeah, for sure. I'm wondering if maybe the pace car lights are out, so no one I do believe, took it down pit road. Gary Adamson, I do believe, did, and Paul Olson. Of course, Kendall LeBron forced to have to take a tow, so he is going to be definitely probably out of the car and now 3 laps down.
Yeah, that's probably going to be his evening. I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, that was pretty significant damage there, as well as a little bit of trauma Lights off on the pace car, though. Time to double them up. Not sure what kind of formation we're running here. This is definitely not a Blue Angel special.
Yeah, definitely interesting that Abner not really getting up there side by side with Chris Severa. There he goes. Here we go. Going to be entering 3 and 4 here, and soon to get the call to go back to Green Flag Racing. Kendall LeBron.
Look at the gap that Preby was having back there.
Yeah, it's almost like he's trying to get a run or something here. The green flag is out. Chris Severa with a heck of a start. Kenny Powell, though, I do believe I think he's going to take that spot away from Abner Acosta. I don't know, though. The top has been pretty good here.
Yeah, further back in the pack, the 48 of Chris Johnson, jockey pole position as he is on the high side. Now he's going to slide down in front of Ryan Strunk. The 11 of Don Avery still to the outside, trying to figure out where he fits in, because that's exactly what they're doing right here. I figured it would have been a little bit more side-by-side racing as this stage is getting ready to come to an end here, Brian, in about 7 laps.
Yeah, definitely a fairly good restart there for the most of these drivers, just considering, being on the older tires. I'm surprised we didn't see any wheel spin or anything like that, but for the most part, single file in the top 5 and top 8, I do believe.
Yeah, especially since a lot of these guys were probably going to be starting in first gear.
Still a lot of battling in the mid-pack, though, as you see Don Avery and Ryan Strunk duking it out, and right behind them, Thomas O'Hara and Brian Johnson are duking it out.
Yeah, Paul Olsen, they're having to slam on his brakes as he got to see the 5-0 of Schaffner coming. That little sticker that it says objects and mirror closer than they appear. Well, yeah, he appeared real close, real quick like.
That he did. Now 6 laps to go here in this stage. Joey Preby sliding right by Jose Acosta.
This is what you start to think. If you're one of those 4 drivers that are in that championship, if Severa doesn't win this thing, those points are going to start to matter, though. So you really got to start to think about that as well.
Oh, this is going to get close. Ryan Strunk all over the rear end of Don Avery here. Almost looks like they were getting ready to have some contact.
Yeah,
a little bit of a stack up here is Gary Adamson passing on the top.
Strunk's just getting a tremendous drive off is what is happening there.
Oh, he is almost even bumping him, but look at Gary Adamson go. He is looking really good.
Yep. Adamson definitely going to be trying to best Strunk right now. Then he's going to be trying to slide around Don Avery as well. Oh, look at that severe checkup. That causes Strunk to get loose. A little bit of a chain reaction there, but everybody seems to have fared okay from it, as we are now just going to be 3 laps away from getting this stage in the books.
And this really shows the benefit of having newer tires. I do believe Adamson on newer tires, also Paul Olsen on newer tires. So no wonder they're driving so fast right now.
Maybe at the end of this thing, maybe for those final 4 contestants, you would do something like that. But the way this stage is running, I think they're best just holding on to their tires, because you never know how this thing is going to play out, Brian.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it could definitely go a bad direction for sure. And, of course, they do have 5 sets down in the pits, so a lot of room for, making decisions here. As we see Jose Acosta on the inside of Preby. That's for 4th place, and they are rubbing.
Yeah, rubbing's racing, baby. Look, Kenny Powell's got the fastest lap time of anybody down there tonight. If he can get his handling woes adjusted, because he had a little bit of trouble with his pace on Thursday as well. But now it looks like this stage is going to be in the books here as they're coming around one final time. Chris Severa just out to a donkey of a lead here. I mean, he took Abner Acosta with him, and they just drove off. But Powell's doing everything he can, though, to kind of keep him in his sights. And I don't know if this is going to be a preview of what we can expect later on in this stage. But stage 1 was definitely a barn burner. It looks like it is going to be in the books, and Chris Severa will be your official Stage 1 winner. Still waiting on the caution. There it is. That's going to put Abner Acosta in P2. Kenny Powell comes on the podium in P3. Jose Acosta, P4. Joey Prevey, P5. Chris D. Johnson in 6th. Gary Adams in 7th. Greg Wachinski, 8th. Thomas O'Hara in 9th. And Don Avery rounds out those top 10 point span positions with Stage 1 in the books. And Chris Severa, winner. Stage pit stops will be underway. Let's take a brief step away, get a word from our sponsors.
We play a key role in both our own future and the future of those around us.
Regardless of your age, gender,
race, or financial situation, no matter who you are or how you define yourself.
On Election Day,
officials determine policy that affects our everyday lives.
So do your research.
And know the candidates.
And make sure you are registered to vote.
Then whether early, absentee, or in person on Election Day,
we want you to vote.
Please join us.
We want you to vote.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see on your screen, they are taking their pit stops now. Let's see who wins the race off pit road. And I do believe we're going to talk to Chris Severa once he has completed this. Abner Acosta wins the race off of pit road. Slow stop for Chris Severa. Oh, no. Let's go ahead and grab him up, and we'll have a chat with old Chris Severa, our Stage 1 winner. All righty, we got you in the booth there, Chris. I mean, we saw a little bit of a issue on pit road. What just happened?
Yeah, just overshot it coming in. It's mental lapse. It's really unexcusable. But yeah, we got another stage. Hopefully, luckily it wasn't Stage 2 coming to 3. So we'll see what we can do here.
Yeah, definitely going to be important that you have a good restart here. You've been doing pretty good so far. I mean, I know on the first lap you were able to take the lead from Kendall LeVron. I mean, are you hoping that maybe you're going to be able to do the same thing again here, but you're starting on the bottom?
Yeah, I know Abner is very fast, so I'm really just going to try and run his pace. Everybody just shows up here now, so really just racing these guys. Going to really, I guess, kind of test to see like what they got. I'm trying nothing really too drastic because we know we got another yellow coming. But yeah, I guess now we kind of see who's got what.
Well, definitely seems like you got a good race car underneath you. I mean, and if Abner wins, it's not that big a deal as long as you finish in front of your championship four. Now, how are you racing? Like a Kenny Powell or a Chris Johnson? Are you acting like a team because the championship's on the line?
We're just running our own race right now. We only got one goal, and that's to get to the checkered flag first. So we're going to do what we got to do to get there.
All right, man. Well, I know you guys are getting ready to go back green here shortly. Who can we give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, everybody, just a gas and go. You guys, as always, it's been a fantastic season, fantastic racing with all these guys. Just hope now we can go and wrap it on up.
All right. Thanks for your time, Chris, and good luck to you.
Thanks, guys.
That was Chris Severa, your Stage 1 winner. Now finds himself in third place. See what he's able to do with this here as the pace car is getting ready to take its trip down pit road. And we still have Stage 2 here. I do believe it's going to be 25 laps until this stage is over. Of course, because of the timing of the caution, it does shorten the stage a little bit. Look at that, Severa warming the tires up back and forth. You can tell he is determined. You can tell he was a little hard on himself.
He's got his knives out.
You could tell he was a little hard on himself there.
Well, this is a playoff racing. You saw what happened to Clayton Hoffman. It looks like Abner wasted no time getting this party started. Tremendous launch for Abner, and clean air does mean a lot. So even though Severa might not be out in front right now, as long as he stays out in front of those other competitors, I think that's going to be his best shot.
Look at the fight that Jose Acosta is putting on Kenny Powell right now. Side by side for third place. Till Jose has taken off the kid gloves. He is here to race.
Yeah, but you know.
Oh, big loose condition for Kenny Powell. That looked a lot like what we've seen in previous times through that dog leg on that top of the track. That's interesting. We haven't seen that except for in a different series.
3 wide back a little bit further in the pack. There's the 11 of Avery at 77 and Gary Adamson. They're all right there bottled up together with Brian Johnson. But, you know, we see Jose run out front like that a lot, and then sometimes he kind of burns his stuff up. So he has got to be very cognizant of the fact that he's still got a long way to go in the stage.
These guys are driving at breakneck pace right now. I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing. The intensity from all of these drivers. You think they're all going for a championship?
Well, it is a race. I mean, you know, they're not out here riding around in traffic.
No, I mean, I got you. I mean, I'm just saying it seems more intense than they usually are running. I mean, they're people are making moves and taking opportunities that, you know, usually might not see as much.
I tell you what, they better hope that Abner Acosta has a scheduled conflict and doesn't come back, because I'm telling you, I think you definitely be passing him a trophy before this season will be over this next season.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Here comes Kenny Powell now. He is battling with Jose Acosta. These two have been going at it here pretty good. Powell now has the advantage on the inside as Jose has the check up right there. Chris D. Johnson a little bit further back in the pack. He's just kind of doing what he needs to do. I don't know if his car is handling as well as he wants it to, but I think he's definitely having his hands full here this evening.
Yeah, but you never can count out Chris Johnson. I mean, we've seen him come out and win races, and you'd be like, where did he come from? You know?
Absolutely, yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, we'll have to wait and see how it progresses here. I mean, a lot of times the strange pit calls that kind of work out, they come from that 48 camp.
Yeah, you gotta mix it up sometimes. You know, if everybody else is drinking Kool-Aid, you know, sometimes you just gotta get you some Gatorade or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll do a little something different. I mean, because that's why they call them strategies. I love that. You know, you get to experiment a little bit. It's Thomas O'Hara now starting to fight his way back up into the crowd there. He is in the top 10.
He's under a lot of fire, though, from Ryan Strunk. Strunk trying to take the high side, but the 117 not allowing it. Now it goes to the bottom.
Strunk's had his hands full for the majority of the competition here today. I mean, that 77 car is definitely, it's not on a rail, but it's loose, and loose is fast, so.
Yeah, he just probably got to get used to how it's driving. I mean, of course, we mentioned it on Thursday. The 75% fuel tank does cause a big difference in handling. And so, you know, it's hard to practice for this race here in the ISCA, because you can go and you can do as many A opens as you want, but that's not going to replicate what that 75% fuel tank is going to feel like. It's Kenny Powell right there on the back end of Chris Severa, but right behind them, side by side, Joey Preby and Jose Acosta.
Joey Preby doing everything he can to get around Jose Acosta, and he is dragging Chris D. Johnson with him. Jose being pushed down on the inside, and that's really fun when your car is tight.
Yeah, definitely got to be careful. Oh, a little loose condition there for Chris Johnson. It's always right through that exact area. We see the car break a little loose.
Well, when they put that in on that dog leg, I don't know if they expected cars to be driving through there as much as they are. You know, the Indy cars won't do it, but you best believe we're going to Dukes of Hazzard that stuff around here.
Chris Johnson now up to 5th. So I think Chris Johnson now is coming alive as we, I do believe, verging on now 15 laps to go here in this stage.
And this is where Jose starts to struggle at a little bit. So we're going to see. Maybe he'll make some adjustments here going into that last long run, because he's going to have to figure that out. That car is going to have to be fast for the long haul. Speaking of fast for the long haul, Abner Acosta out for his longest lead of the night, as he now has about 6/10 of a second lead over P2 Chris Severa. So I'm thinking clean air around here is the ticket. If you're out front, I think everybody's going to have a hard time catching you, but it'd be interesting to see if in the next 10 laps or so, if he's going to kind of fall off like Severa did in the previous stage.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point for sure. You know, clean air definitely very key at a track like this. It's so, you know, there's banking around this place, but it's not as much as you would expect to see at a lot of, you know, it's not Bristol. I mean, so you got to, you know, you have to have some clean air because, I mean, you know, it could affect the handling quite substantially here. Joey Preby starting to catch up to the back of Kenny Powell here. Preby definitely has been very impressive. All night long, he has been doing pretty much nothing but moving forward.
But that's good to see his father behind him. Jose still sliding back, going the wrong way as he is currently in 6th place. As long as he can keep Chris Johnson in his sights, though, that will give him some hope. Powell not actually able to close the gap there on the 62 of Severa, but he's still hanging in there, giving her all she's got as we've got 10 laps to go in this stage at the line.
Yeah, Kenny Powell definitely not looking – I mean, he's looking good right now, but he's not looking incredibly good. And I think that he's gonna – it's going to change when he gets to that final stage. I mean, we saw that on Thursday to where, you know, Kenny Powell was kind of a non-factor until it came time to the end of the race. I mean, he had the long-run car because he had a different strategy there, the way he was driving the stages and and, of course, you know, that actual final run to the end.
Yeah, I'm just remembering lap 51, Brian Britt calls Kenny Powell a non-factor.
No, I was saying on Thursday he was somewhat of a non-factor. Not tonight.
Well, look, I'm not taking the whole quote. I just need a little bit of it.
You're gonna tell Kenny, huh?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Brian said you was a non-factor.
Hey, you said it.
I don't think that's the case here tonight. I was saying that's when he came alive, was that final stage. That was when it was.
Hey, just call the race, man. No sense of trying to sit here and make up for what
I'm going to argue with you. You know I'm going to argue with you.
Yeah, just do what you're paid to do. Just call the race. Push the buttons. But, yeah, Jose Abner Acosta definitely out here tonight, and I definitely believe that, you know, he's got a little something up his sleeve. He knows what's going on. He's got it figured out. But Chris Severa now slowly closing the distance there, and that's exactly kind of what we saw at the previous stage where that leader only had that lead for so long.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways it's so hard to set your own pace when you're not really judging off of someone else. And I think that's what Abner's kind of problem is right now. And, you know, Chris is quickly catching him. I mean, it was about a half a second. Now it's much less, only 2/10 now. And I think Severa might be looking to try to take this lead back here shortly. And he's going to have to hope that he does not make another mistake on pit road. I think that's the big thing that he was kicking himself over whenever we were interviewing him.
Well, he's showing tremendous pace, both he and Abner. So at this point, I'm gonna say that if something drastic doesn't happen in this next stage, and as far as the handling of the 42 to 24 and the 48, that Chris Severa, it will be his championship to lose.
Taking a nice cockpit camera here as he tries to catch up to Abner Acosta. Don't believe he's shifting, running 4th gear, just like we were seeing, I do believe, with Kenny Powell.
Where's the telemetry? There you go.
Yes, boss man, I got you. Look at the gap back there. You know, you can see in the mirror of Chris Severa, objects appear closer than they are. Well, Kenny Powell's pretty dang far back there.
Yeah, you can just get an indication of just how, you know, how the banking of that track is too, riding along with Severa.
Yeah, that's such a great camera, that gyro camera. Not exactly the cockpit camera, but it definitely gives a nice perspective there from almost if you were the passenger sitting in that race car.
Yeah, I'm driving.
Now, if you were out there, you'd be wrecking everybody.
Just the leaders.
Just to make things interesting, right?
Just wrecking the leaders. Speaking of which, the 4 of Brian Johnson, almost gets him to the back of the 11 of Don Avery.
And there's a lot of racing going on back here. Ryan Strunk trying to hold on to this spot. Loose. Oh, wow. That's going to give Don Avery a good run up top.
I'm telling you, Ryan Strunk is out of his hands full with that car. That setup is loose at best. Oh, and just like that, he door bangs Don Avery, and the 77 will go sideways. That is going to bring out our caution here for the second time tonight.
And that also will conclude stage 2. So Abner Acosta is going to win stage number 2. Ryan Strunk, of course, having some issues here. Let's take a look back. Taking a look back at this right here, you see Ryan Strunk on the inside. Don Avery, I think, came down.
No. Don't be putting that on Don. The 77 really slid up.
I think it was a little bit of both. You see, Avery
was
not giving him a lot of room.
Well, I mean, how much room do you need?
Take a look back at this. I mean, Strunk definitely got a little loose. You can see that. He comes up to chase it up. I mean, that was, the big mover in that whole situation was definitely Strunk. But I do feel like Avery did come down a little bit. But, I mean, of course, mostly that is Strunk just trying to chase it up the track. And, unfortunately, I mean, I don't think he got a lot of damage out of that whole situation. He's got to hope that whatever damage he did get fixes the race car. Well, let's go ahead and take a brief step away. We'll be right back with whoever Big Al wants to talk to.
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy, and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe Big Al is going to be bringing up a guest up into the booth. Who are we talking to, Big Al?
Jose Acosta, Big Al, up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, what's up, man?
Well, Jose, we are down to the final race, and this will be the final stage. Did you make any adjustments to that hot rod here to try to, or you feel like you got a strong long run car?
I think I do. I mean, it's been a little bit aggressive out there, so to me a little bit. So maybe I'm backing up too much, but I don't know. Did a little bit of setup, so I'm just ready to see what's going to happen after this.
What about tire wear? Has tire wear been an issue here tonight with this track temp, or has it been about what you expected?
Oh yeah, tire wear is a big deal here, so definitely you got to save.
Well, all right, I understand the lights are off on the pace car. You're getting ready to go back to work, man. Good luck to you here as we finish up this championship run, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you at the end of this thing.
All right.
Of course, that was Jose Acosta. I do believe he is going to be restarting in 5th place position. Big Al, if you don't... No, all right. Making sure that anyone us to mess with him here. But green flag's going to be back out in the air as Abner Acosta guns it. Great restart there.
Yeah, Abner did, and Thomas O'Hara did not. That would be the story of that restart. Chris Johnson on the move as he's threading the needle. He goes on the inside of Joey Preby there. Now he is up to 6th place. And it's going to be interesting to watch out for these championship drivers now, because if you let these guys get away from you, I mean, think about it. The further they get away from you, the further your championship chances are.
Oh, yeah, especially at this point. No caution. I mean, a caution could save you, but, I mean, it might not. It's not very likely. I mean, you see Kenny Powell working hard to try to get up there to Chris Severa. Definitely in a good position. Definitely does not need to push it too hard, though. I mean, it's easy to see that 62 right there and, just want to chase him down. I got to pass him now. But, that could hurt your tires later to where he's going to get right back right around you.
Yeah, but I think Powell's also trying to keep him honest at the same time. You know what I mean? Wow, these guys are really ripping it up here. It's Josh Schaffner, a name that we don't really get to mention that much here lately. He is back here battling for position. Going at it really hard with Ryan Strunk.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Schaffner definitely not one we've talked about a lot. Of course, he kind of had a leave of absence there for a little bit, but is back in action, and would have expected him to be up here fighting for a championship. But Abner Acosta out front has about a little bit 6/10, I do believe, over Chris Severa. Severa has enough problems of his own, though, as he's got Kenny Powell right there behind him. And, of course, Jose Acosta not that far back either. Greg Wachinski starting to look in on Jose Acosta. Wachinski looking pretty good here tonight in that 5 machine. Severa goes down the track. He is being hounded by his teammate, the 24. You could tell, like I said, I knew this would be the case. I mean, these guys, even though they say, oh, yeah, I'm G&G all the way through, right now, Kenny Powell's going for Kenny Powell. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, this is exactly what you have to do at this stage of the game. You're not racing. It's not like there's another guy there. This is just you and Chris Severa battling against each other. And, might I add, you're battling for a championship. So this isn't the time where you're just going to kind of sit back and rest on your laurels. Powell knows that if he wants to get around Severa, he's got to do it earlier on in the stage, because the longer he waits, the harder it's going to be. And look at him now fighting for inside position there. He's got his bumper right on the inside of Severa.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he gets underneath there. I feel like Kenny might be overdriving a little bit, though. I'm wondering how this is going to affect his tires.
Oh, don't worry about it. Powell knows what he's doing. I mean, this guy has been here for a long time, and he's been in all sorts of positions. This is the time that he has spent his whole life waiting on. This is that moment, where you want the ball. I mean, it's 4th and whatever. This is the Super Bowl, baby. If he doesn't bring it home tonight, there's no next week.
Yeah, definitely for sure when it comes to the Super Cup Championship. Of course, they still are all driving for the Cup Series title, but, this is the big show. I mean, the Super Cup Series, yeah, you could have a Cup Series championship, but can you get a Super Cup Series championship? A 36-week schedule, that's a long road, and in order to make it to the Final Four and get a championship, that takes so much dedication and so much time.
Absolutely, man. You have to be consistently fast and good. That's not just going to, the guys that are in the Final Four of this thing, These are the guys that have brought it week in and week out. You know, they've been here putting it up. Now, there's a lot of other honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut, but trust me, it was a battle all the way down through and through to the end.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely going to be a battle through and through all the way to the end for this race. As we see Chris Johnson there, right there, catching up to Jose Acosta and Greg Wychinski.
Yeah, and Ryan Strunk and the 65 of Joey Preby, these guys are going at it pretty hard. They're almost at a little bit of contact, but thank goodness they were actually able to work it out. Strunk car seems to be handling a lot better this iteration, although we are still early on in this run.
Yeah, his car looks all right in the short run. We'll have to wait and see how it kind of works out. I'm surprised that Preby has fallen all the way back here to 7th place. I mean, he was up in the top 5 not too long ago. Definitely very interested on what changed with the 65. Brian Johnson, though, going to be thinking about trying to look in on the inside of the 77. Just kind of unfortunate because we saw Kenny Powell was catching up to Severo, was right on the back bumper, had gotten side by side, but he's not able to get back to him again. This is definitely a little bit of the alarm bells would be going off if I was in this 2014 right now. Of course, it's still a long way to go. If it stays green flag pit stops could be the difference maker. It really could be. I mean, Severo, we've seen him make mistakes on pit road. We've seen it.
Well, he's not the only one. It cost Clayton Hoffman pretty much a championship, or the best guess that we would have. But the 77 and 65 still battling side by side. I'm telling you, the fans are definitely getting their money's worth watching these two go at it because this is it's everything that you need to see in a race.
They act like they're fighting for the lead right now.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely is. Looks like Strong able to hold off to 65 here, but the 4 are coming into, I do believe, going to be trying to maybe take advantage.
Yes, we're halfway through this competition right now. Just, it's I guess it's go time, Brian.
Yeah, it's definitely go time.
Speaking of going, Paul Osen is goings on down pit road.
Now 20 laps into this run here. So the tires are starting to really misbehave quite a bit here. We've seen about, I'd say, a half a second or more of fall off so far. Abner Acosta, though, out to almost a second of a lead. Of course, this is the guy that, cuts his teeth in the fixed setup races. I mean, he is a talent and something to watch. I mean, he is definitely, I think that's his strength, running those fixed setup races, because, it tells you how to really save the tire, even if you're on an open setup. I think it translates, and I think that's why he finds himself so good, and I think that's why he's going to be one of the guys to look out for next season. Even for the Cup Series standings, he is definitely just been taking care of business, has more wins than anybody in the Cup Series standings.
Yeah, I think he's saying that he has like a scheduling conflict. Spit it out, big Al. I think he's having a scheduling conflict that's not going to allow him to compete as much on Saturday nights, I believe, if I heard correctly. We need to get him over on Thursday nights, though.
Yeah, we even had a conversation after the Thursday race about Clayton joining in on Saturday. That would be something to have, Abner join that Thursday crew. I think he'd come out there and he would put it on them. I don't think those guys would find it very easy to have to try to deal with him.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot Clayton's going to be possibly joining us here on Saturdays. That's exciting in itself.
Yeah, very much so. Definitely a lot of fall-off happening to Kenny Powell right now. I think I might have been on to something there. I think he might have been burning his stuff up trying to get around Chris, because he is a 10th off of Chris's pace right now. Chris Severo, of course, that's who I mean.
Yeah, but he knows what he's doing. I mean, and the reason why I say that is they do have the advantage of having that pit stop coming up. Man, with that pit stop, you can slide that anywhere you really want to put it, just depending on which way your car is set up. If it's better for the long run, then you could slide that pit stop forward or aft, if I'm making sense.
Yeah, you definitely, short pit or long pit. I mean, I think that Kenny was so good on Thursday on the long run when it came to that final stage, of course, after the final pit stop. So if I was him, I would maybe shorten it a little bit just to try to gain some track position and just try to save my tires as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, that's going to be the key because, I mean, it's how are your tires holding up? How is your car handling? Because, Jose even said himself that tire wear is a big deal right now down there. And look, Brian, that's through running 30 laps.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just 30 laps. I mean, we're getting closer to the longest run we've had so far tonight. I mean, we're 27 laps into this run. So, I mean, eventually we're going to be entering that unknown, territory. Of course, some of the guys out there, it's not particularly unknown, like, Greg Wychinski or Kenny Powell. They both raced on Thursday, so they kind of know what to expect. But some of these guys that did not race, they don't know.
As well as a couple A opens, I'm certain.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely probably been running A opens. I know, knowing them, I mean, they've been doing NIS and A opens. But like I said, I mean, that 75% fuel tank makes that a different thing to deal with. I mean,
and the 77 of Ryan Strunk and the 65 of Joey Prevey still going at it. These two are side by side. They must be running the same setup.
Because they are finding themselves with magnets to each other right now.
I mean, yeah, it's like they can't get away from each other. Oh, look at that. And the 5 of Greg Wychinski now battling his teammate, the 48 of Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson holding steady in 5th place. He really hadn't fallen out of the top 5. He's just kind of been right there. You're on to something. You can't count any of these guys out. I think right now we're just getting an opportunity to see how their strategies are playing out. Thank you.
Yeah, and looking at lap times, it looks like Chris Johnson is about running the same times that Kenny Powell is. But he's definitely running better than Jose Acosta. Acosta has fallen off substantially here. He's about 2/10, 3/10 off of what the leader's doing right now. That's a lot. That is a lot.
And that's got to be pretty frustrating because, when you come out here and you know that you got a chance to run a championship and it's all going to be down to this track, you know what I mean? And if it's your worst track or a track that you don't quite have figured out, it's going to be a long day, baby.
Yeah, definitely will be, as we're now 31 laps into it, and you see Acosta just starting to – I think you called it right earlier. I think he's tight. I mean, that's what I'm seeing in that race car is tight. And tight is not what you want at Phoenix, even though, you don't want an overly loose car either, but you have to have a good balance, and I just don't think that 42's got it right now. And just it's sad to say because, I mean, this long road it takes to get to this championship right now, and Jose brought the wrong equipment, Yeah,
unless something happens, that could be the possibility of a late race caution. Now, these guys still have to make green flag pit stops, and according to my calculations, if the caution were to come out now, they would be good to go to the end of the race. So the pit window's open, and with that, the 36 of Gary Adamson finds himself down on pit road. He's going to be trading out those 4 tires he's got for a tank of gas and 4 freshies.
Look at that. Joey Prevey has now worked his way back up into 6th place. Just got by Greg Wychinski. Prevey running some really good laps right now. Prevey is faster than almost everybody in front of him except for the leader. That is impressive.
Yeah, Abner definitely has this track figured out as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, look at Abner. I mean, you don't put over 2 seconds on Chris Severa That does not usually happen. You know what I mean? I mean, Abner, that just shows you the skill level that race car driver has.
Oh, yeah, I totally understand what you're saying.
But here comes, you see Gary Adamson. You just mentioned he went down pit road. Well, he is on the fresh tires. He's going to be trying to get that lap back. Of course, he is 2 laps down. He's going to be driving right around the 44. So this goes to show you how important those tires can be, and really, knocks, I'd say makes it more evident that, for these other guys, makes that temptation more alive that, hey, that guy's driving right around me. Like, maybe I want to get some fresh shoes on.
I mean, sure he is for this lap. But also understand he's still got 60 laps to go in this thing, and he barely made it. Well, I'm not saying that but yeah, he just made it 30 laps, for the last run. Obviously, he stopped because his handling was poor.
Yeah,
so yeah,
sure.
it's great to be fast for a little while, but you got to be fast for the long haul. That's the key.
100%. As we see Chris Johnson's ever in closing in on the 42.
And look at the gap now between Powell and Severa.
Large gap, very big gap. Over 3 seconds.
So he might have stuck his neck out there a little bit prematurely, but at least he collected that data to know what not to do again. Because here in the near future, he's going to have 2 other championship contenders that will be breathing down his neck. And these guys are all so tight together that they're all going to be trying to probably pit around the same time as well. Now, Severa, hopefully he's got his pit shenanigans out of the way. He won't go down there and monkey it up again, because right now this is going to be one of those big pit slaps, Brian. This is one of those drive for show, pit for dough type scenarios.
100%. I am just shocked at how much Kenny Powell's been falling off here. Last time by a 29.2. That was one of the slowest laps on the track. You see a lot of fall off, though. Like we said, we're in uncharted territory. About a second and a half so far for most of the drivers out there. I think the only person that is still hitting a sub 29 second lap is Abner Acosta.
And he's right there at the mark. But this is where it's going to get interesting, because when Jose gets up here, Jose is going to try to pass Powell. You do understand that, right?
Well, 100%. Why wouldn't he? He's trying to he has to get past Powell to even try to get up to Severa. But, trying to get up to Severa is going to be trying to climb a mountain, trying to climb Everest, because he is way out there.
And Preby's going to try to pass Acosta, right?
Of course, they're all going to try to pass each other. Here comes Preby. Tries to get onto the inside. I think he's going to do it this turn. Jose not going to give him the room.
Right about now, Jose's wondering, what the hell?
It looks like Jose is able to hold him off. Joey just not able to get the run he really needs here, but they are all starting to envelop Kenny Powell. Powell has got to be, like I said, the alarms, they were going off earlier, but I guarantee you they're at DEFCON 5 right now in that 24 camp.
Well, the best thing that happened for Powell is that the 65 of Preby caught the 42, because now he's putting the pressure on Jose, which is affecting Jose's ability to attack Powell. Jose can't play offense because he's got to concentrate too much on defense. And that's what's going to allow Powell to breathe easier for a couple more laps.
Yeah, a couple more laps is probably the best way to look at it, because, once Preview gets by the 42, I do believe he's going to be right there. And there he goes. He slides right up in front of Jose Acosta. And now Acosta going to have to deal with Chris Johnson.
Yeah, because he had to deal with Preby. And, yeah, he's not happy. And Jose gets rattled sometimes. So he's just got to shake this off and just kind of focus a little bit further down the road. Get into the mode of, hey, look, we'll be pitting soon. Let's just back this up, figure out exactly how many more laps we need to stay out in order to give us a good fighting shot at this thing. I'm thinking most of these guys will be coming in the next 5 or 6 laps.
Yeah, I think that's probably I think that's right on the money. Yeah, that would split this run in half because we're now 45 laps into this run. Is Freebie all over the rear end of Kenny Powell. Now, one thing about this, Powell takes it down pit road.
Did he get it slowed down enough? That's the question.
That is definitely a very good question. All of a sudden, just pitted. I mean,
it is good right there.
I bet
didn't see that coming.
I did not either. I don't think any of the drivers around him saw that coming.
Yeah, Don Avery also down pit road. Wow, interesting move by Powell. But, maybe his car is better in the long run. Now he could go out there and well, maybe that was his strategy. Maybe his strategy was to push Severa hard. Now he can go out there with his long run setup and run that thing into the sunset.
And you know what's really interesting about it? I mean, all the audience out there probably watching Kenny Powell, they were like, what long run setup? He doesn't seem like he's got a long run setup. But, I mean, I know that a lot of it is based on the driver inputs, too, because we always say who's got a long run setup, but that's kind of a miscommunication in a way because, your setup can definitely lend to your long run, but it's also the driver behind the wheel. If they're not doing the right things, if they're driving it harder, I don't care what setup you have, it's not going to work.
But you said it yourself that Powell is fast on the long run, and I bet you
on
that's
Thursday
what he
did. Was. He very much was.
Well, I guarantee you he's still running the same setup that's just been modified a little bit. So I think his plan was to probably push Severa hard, because now Severa, he's got to go with whatever he's got. But now Powell, he could run this leg completely on his own terms.
Yeah, he won't have that carrot on a stick kind of. He just kind of runs as fast as he needs to go. There's no one really out there to hopefully affect what he does. And I hope it works out for him. I really do. And I think he has a good head on his shoulders as we see Chris Johnson start to catch up here to Jose Acosta. As I do believe
Josh Doppler down pit road.
Yep, you see him right now, and also Frank Flores following him right down.
Triple F, Flores.
I mean, you see the Chris Severa down pit road.
Chris
Johnson. Interesting call. Yeah, Chris Johnson also down. Thomas O'Hara, Ryan Strunk. Once you see Chris Severa go down, I think that kind of rings that bell for everybody. Hey, it's time to go down too.
But I'm going to watch and see how long Abner stays out because, this guy is just still out there strolling along,
Yeah, usually we see this from Abner a lot of times. He goes a long way. He's usually one of the last guys to pit.
Jose Acosta on pit road. So now all of our final four contenders have pitted. This is going to be their own little sprint to the end, if you will.
Long pit stop for Chris Severa. 15.3 seconds in the box. That is not going to be good. Any amount of time will cause, could cause issues. We'll have to wait and see. As you see Chris Severa out, I do believe Chris Johnson not that far back. Actually, no, that's Brian Johnson. I do apologize. That could have an effect, though, a slow stop. Looks like Abner Acosta now coming down pit road.
Yes, you bet. You don't even have to waste your money on betting that. We saw the same thing happen on Thursday. If it wasn't a factor, it was present, if not contributing factor to Hoffman not winning that. That's huge for Severa because that's going to negate any lead that he had. And now he's got to chase Powell.
Yeah, definitely. Look at, I think about 3 seconds in between them right now.
Powell just needs to maintain. Because if he could just stay in his own head and don't worry about the mirror, don't worry about the dang relative. If he could just stay in his and just run his own race, man, he could actually run right into a championship.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what he's hoping for. For sure. We'll have to wait and see, as I do believe we're verging on 40 laps to go here in just next time by.
And seeing behind him, the 44 of Abner, Abner's going to be running down Severa. I mean, that's going to be his total goal.
Yeah, and if Abner slows down Severa at all, that also could help out Kenny Powell.
Absolutely. And you know, Abner's not going to just fall in behind Severa. I mean, he's going to try to get up there and pass him. He does have the faster car.
He's also got newer tires.
Yeah, Chris Johnson's making his way through the field. He is now being scored in 7th. Jose in 10th is the farthest back of our championship contenders.
Very good pit stop for Chris Johnson, too. He actually spent only 13.8 seconds in the box. I mean, that's the fastest pit stop I think we've seen, except for Jose Acosta actually spent 13.5, so a little bit quicker there. But that adds up. I mean, that little bit of time, you don't think that adds up, but it sure does.
Yep, Abner's made his way around Chris Severa.
Now, Chris is probably just going to try to follow Abner as long as he can. Of course, Abner is on newer equipment here, so wouldn't be surprised to see him start to pull away and start to run down Kenny Powell.
Jose feeling a little bit desperate now. He's back in the back, making his way around, trying to do everything he can to catch up to his counterparts.
And we mentioned it before about Gary Adamson, who had really short pitted there. He is, you see him right on your screen here. I do believe he is falling quickly.
Yeah, he's all the way back in 7th now. Actually, 8th.
Yeah, he's going to continue to drop spots here just because of how old his tires are. As now 27 laps on that equipment.
And you called it correctly. Abner slowly pulling away from Severa, who is slowly pulling closer to Powell.
Yeah, Chris Severa right now separated by Kenny Powell by 1.7 seconds. So not that far away. He's enclosing even faster now, 1.3 seconds. You know, it's definitely fluctuating quite a bit here.
And there's not even any lap traffic ahead that they could even kind of bank on.
Yeah, I think Kenny Powell would not want to see lap traffic at this moment. If he sees lap traffic, he hopes that they let him go and they hold the other guys up. Look at Abner go. Abner is all over now the back bumper of Kenny Powell. Abner, I don't think he's going to be sweating this at all. He's going to make this pass look easy, I do believe. But Powell not going to he's going to make him work for it here. But with the older tires, he goes up the track a little bit. I don't know if Abner's going to be able to get this done, I do believe, on the dog leg.
And Severa's he has got to be salivating right now as well, as he is slowly coming up onto the Powell's rearview mirror as well. And Powell just doesn't need that pressure right now.
Yeah, 100%. Looking at Chris Johnson, though, he's sitting in 4th place right now. But he is over 8 seconds away from the leader. So he is in probably a desperation mode himself.
So here's a question. Who got the cash app to bring out the caution?
Oh, I don't know. Probably Ryan Strunk, I guess.
So, because do you think you think we're going to see one?
Oh, I thought you were talking about who got the cash out to bring the caution out earlier.
No, I'm saying, like, do you think what do you think the chances are that we're going to get this thing done clean and green? Or you think it's going to be a caution? Because a caution at any point from here on out will be just totally, awesome for us, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it would definitely throw a wrench. It would put everybody's chances of the championship in a blender. And, whoever comes out on top, it's going to be based on your short run pace. Because, I guarantee you, if a caution came out right now, everybody's coming down pit road and going to grab a set of tires, and it's all going to come down to who's got the best short run.
I think it's going to happen, man. I'm very optimistic that a caution is going to come out.
Well, here comes, you see Chris Rivera all over the rear end of Kenny Powell. This is a fight for what essentially is the championship.
Hey, you know, Severa he's got to set him up. You know, that's the only way you're going to get around Powell.
Yeah, Powell running a little bit higher on the track, trying to defend. I don't know how long he's going to be able to defend, even though the tire life difference is not very much between these two. I mean, about 5 laps, but that still is a lot.
With 31 laps to go, though, this isn't the time that you wear your tires out battling Severa. This is the time that you let him go, because you can't count on a caution coming out, and there's no reason to burn your stuff up at this point, because if, you know, Powell's already felt that, and that's the reason why I think he pitted on a sequence that he did. You know, and there is a 6-lap difference between Severa and Powell, and the 36 of Gary Adamson is down pit road again.
Yeah,
and
that's just handling. I mean, that just makes sense. I mean, he's 30-something or
yep,
he's 30-something laps.
He's a 30 for 30 guy.
It seems like his car does not handle well after 30 laps, and it could be even driver based. His setup might be great. It's just we've seen it in this next gen car. I mean, in the Gen 6, you can drive it a little harder and not have to be paid so much when it comes, or not have to deal with the tire wear quite as bad. But this next gen, it rewards you saving that tire, not driving that race car hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he just decided that instead of going out there fighting the car, he's just going to take it easy here for the rest of the way.
Abner Acosta out in front has 3 seconds over Chris Severa right now, but none of that matters to Chris Severa because he will be the champion if the race ended this next lap. But, of course, anything can still happen. I mean, I definitely am right there with you. I'm thinking a caution could come out. I mean, it definitely could. I mean, we've seen it already happen tonight. I mean, already has been different than what we saw on Thursday. Of course, Thursday ran completely green. This race has not. So could we see, a late race caution? And there are, a bunch of cars that are kind of close to each other. So, I mean, it wouldn't take much.
No, it wouldn't. Here, hold my beer. I want to run down here and get in my car. I could cause a caution to come out.
Oh, I know you can.
Jose definitely not in the position that he wanted to be in at all. I guarantee you that, as he is currently in 6th place. Just not able to find the pace on that car tonight. It just seemed like he has been tight for the majority of the evening. With 25 laps to go, I don't think he has found the freedom that he's going to need to get him a little bit closer to the front of this pack. And he's still got Joey Preby that behind him, and Preby is not going to let him be.
Been impressed with Josh Schaffner, now up into the top 5 in 5th place. Of course, he is, I do believe, also being ran down by Jose Acosta and Joey Preby. Jose and Joey are pretty close on lap times. I do believe Joey a little bit quicker, just by a couple hundredths, as we're verging on just a little bit over 20 laps to go. This thing has flown right on by.
Yeah, I just think we need one more caution.
Why don't you open your window out and throw a banana peel down?
What do they throw at Phoenix? I know they throw chicken bones at Talladega.
Do they really?
Yeah.
At Talladega, they throw chicken bones?
Chicken bones! And beer bottles or beer cans.
That sounds dangerous, throwing a chicken bone out on a racetrack. I think that definitely will pop a tire. Definitely the championship is unfolding, though, right now. Kenny Powell struggling, 28.9 last time by versus Chris Severa, 28.5. So almost 0.4 of a second there separates those two on with their lap times. Of course, Chris Johnson not faring too much better here as he's starting to be caught by Josh Schaffner, Jose Acosta, and Joey Prevey.
Yeah, he's just got to hold his mouth right for a couple more laps, man, and he'll be okay. But right now, you're right. Everybody is reeling him in.
And this is when a caution is more likely because, I mean, you see Prevey right there on the back of the 42. We already know that these guys are Prevey and Jose Acosta, both of those guys will race you hard. And, when they're together, they're going to race each other hard. You know what I mean?
Where's Al Koslowski when you need him?
I know, right? So now we have less than 20 laps to go. And it's looking like Chris Severa has the best shot to grab a championship. Not a surprise. I mean, I'm not too surprised. But anything still could happen. I mean, as Prevey now tries to get underneath the 42, not able to get there quite yet, but big run. He gets to the back bumper.
He gave him a love tap.
That he did. And where there's one love tap, there's more, to come.
I was just waiting on that one.
Prevey looking for a way to get by here. Tries the bottom. See if he can't. Now he's going to try to use the top, but still not going to be able to get there quite yet. He's going to be building a run here. Could we see another bumper?
He's trying to get that drive off coming out of the turn. Now he's going to occupy that inside spot. Looks like he's going to have enough momentum to get to pass Bay. Jose backed off just enough so he could try to run in return. And just like that, Schaffner is now up to the 48.
Definitely is. You see the 48 going way up the racetrack. I think he's also suffering from a tight condition there.
Yeah, Powell definitely suffering, man. He is running a 29.182 compared to a 28.7 of Severa, a 28.9 of Johnson, and a 28.7 for Jose.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Kenny Powell's running lap times that are being ran by 11th place. I mean, so it's not good. But luckily, I don't know if Chris Johnson's going to be able to catch him. It's gonna be close.
I mean, does it really matter?
Well, not really, not for the championship. But, of course, it matters for the Cup Series points. It definitely matters for that.
Yeah, but tonight it's all about a championship.
Look at Prevey. Prevey dives in and almost gets into the rear end of Josh Schaffner. That was close. Here comes Prevey on the inside.
I think I was holding my breath right there because I was like, man, this could be an opportunity for that caution.
Kenny is going to kill us after this race because he's going to be like, you guys are wanting cautions.
Yeah, heck yeah, I want a caution right now.
Yeah, I want to see these guys have to battle it out for a championship. I don't want Chris Severa to. I mean, I don't mind Chris Severa win the championship. I don't. Of course, I love Chris. I mean, he's a good friend of mine. But like, I want it to be a battle to see who gets it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want like. Oh, and there it is.
Right.
Oh, stop! Right there, caution comes out. Caution is out on the racetrack. I don't know how the caution came out. I would have never thunk it. Man, we would have never called a caution. I mean, we didn't even say anything about a caution, did we? Did you say something about a caution?
I never said a word about cautions. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think we said caution.
Look at that. He almost gets into the back of the 50. He does get into him a little bit, and I think that him applying the brakes to try to avoid getting into the 50 caused him to slide there. So, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that we would have said caution because this is going to be a 10-lap shootout for the championship, and I don't think anybody wanted to see that.
I guarantee you that Kenny Powell is probably thanking his lucky stars right now. Chris Severa probably is not very happy about that caution coming out.
Well, this changes everything because this right here, I mean, this is what we came to see. I mean, this is going to be a shootout, run what you brung, and who's going to have the fastest 10-lap car.
Yeah, exactly. So
air those tires up, toss your worries away, baby. Come on.
Yeah, all the concern about long run definitely not going to be applicable here.
Frank Flores, recipient of that lucky dog, he's going to be able to get his lap back, and that's going to put us with 13 of the 17 cars or 16 cars that started this thing on the lead lap here.
Abner Acosta, of course, has won the race off of pit road. Have to see if he's able to. I think that Abner altogether, short run, long run, he has had the best car easily. I mean, it doesn't matter what kind of run he's got to do. I think Abner definitely has the pace to win this race. That's not really much in question. I think what's really in question is Chris Severa and Kenny Powell. What are they willing to do? I mean, and the thing is wait a second, I think Kenny might have lost some spots on. No, he is. Okay, he's starting third. So he's going to have an advantage on Chris Severa. If Severa does not get a good start, Kenny could take that spot away from him.
Jose, all the way back in 10th, so he didn't do himself any favors. Lights are out. Lights are not on the pace car, so it's going to be 9 laps to go here once we go back green on this thing.
Yeah, definitely. This is going to be intense. I mean, this is going to be some dog fighting right here. I mean, and Chris Johnson's not far back either. I mean, he's back there in 5th. This is going to be nuts.
You got to get a clean start. The restart has to be flawless.
Yeah,
you got to be right perfect. Gear. And you also got to be cognizant because you got to make sure that the guy that's above you and below you are rolling.
If I was Kenny Powell, I'd just wreck Chris Severa. That's what I would do. Just because, I want to get that championship. I'm sorry, Chris. I hate that for you. I'll ask for forgiveness later.
Oh, you definitely got to understand what's going on in these guys' mind right now because, Chris Severa had almost won the championship. All he had to do was just stay out there and keep going. And who would have thought that a caution would have come out? I don't even like saying that word, man.
Yeah, we didn't bring it out. That's for sure.
It wasn't us.
There goes the pace car down pit road. This is going to be for all the marbles right here, ladies and gentlemen.
No, we still got the potential of a green-white checker or two.
Yeah, especially with the intensity. These guys are racing for a championship. Some bumpers could be thrown.
And Severa is going to be trying to get the best launch possible. Oh, Abner got him, and Powell pulling in hard down low. Is he going to win the drag race? Severa's trying to close that door. Powell's going to come up. Now, we've seen Powell battle Severa hard tonight. You haven't seen anything yet. As Severa gets low on the apron, Powell's trying to get around him on the outside. Here comes Chris D. Johnson into the fray.
Powell now has the outside. Can he make it work? Wow, what a dive there for Severa. Diving it deep.
Yeah, Powell gets way out of shape there. Chris D. Johnson coming away on the inside.
Wow, look at Johnson go. Johnson took him 3 wide, took 2 for 1. Can he get up there to Chris Severa, though? Oh, he's blocking.
Oh, he's hit by Freebie.
This is getting scary.
Freebie's going to drive him down low here. Severa back up to where he wants to be.
4 wide back there. We saw some contact with Josh Schottner.
Jose and Powell banging each other's doors.
We taught this. We knew this was going to be crazy.
Now Jose is actually ahead of Powell. Severa's just happy and grinning as he's just eating his chicken running all the way to the bank.
I still don't think. I mean, there could still be a caution, something. Because I mean, these guys are racing like crazy right now.
Yeah. It's definitely another chance for a caution to come out. Thomas O'Hara way high on the wall. That's going to give us almost of a 3-wide condition there, and it did.
Oh, there it is, the 5.
There's your caution.
Josh Schaffner, I do believe, involved. Greg Wachinski.
Thomas O'Hara. I mean, they were 3 wide right there.
Take a look back at this here. I think it's because, Thomas O'Hara got into the outside wall, and then that put him 3 wide. See, there he is. He's in the outside wall. Then they go 3 wide. And just Schaffner, I don't think Schaffner or Greg were given enough room to each other there.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Because, I mean, you see, Thomas can't go any higher. Thomas is as high as he could possibly go. He was doing everything right.
And, Thomas actually runs away unscathed, if you think about it.
Tell you, he didn't run away unscathed in that old mess, though. Even though Kenny Powell wasn't involved in that accident, he still lost a lot of positions. It's all the way back to 7th place. I mean, Jose Acosta, like you mentioned, is in front of him. But Chris Johnson made the bonsai move, I think, of the century.
Yeah, absolutely. And these guys get another chance to do it right again, as this is going to be a green-white checker. This should be the first attempt.
If I'm not mistaken, I think it's the only attempt.
Oh, wow. So this is for all the marbles. Don Avery, Thomas O'Hara down pit road, along with Josh Schaffner. I think all of those were the guys that were involved in that last mishap.
You gotta know that Chris Severa is probably hating this right now, because I mean he literally the caution before that one, he probably hated that one, but it worked out well for him. I mean, because he's still on the restart. I mean, Kenny had all his problems. I mean, Chris Johnson made his bonsai move, but it still didn't get him really much closer to Severa. Severa was in a good position right there.
Why would he be mad? I mean, this is.
Well, he's probably mad now because I mean he's got Johnson that's going to be right behind him.
Oh, this is what everybody came to see. I mean, I think he wants us to have like an action-filled, one-lap shootout, green-white checker for the championship. You know what I'm telling you? If I was Christy Johnson, I would run right up in there amongst them. And, Jose's entered the fray also. Now, Jose was all the way back in 10th place on that last restart. So now he finds himself all the way up to 6th. He's got Powell that's going to be on his outside. I don't know, man. This is the making of a thriller.
Yeah, very much so. See, the pace car light should be going out here any time. Yep, there they are.
And
so that means we're going to have 2 laps to go.
And once the green flag comes out, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be interesting to note that the next flag will freeze the field and end the race.
Yep, definitely. No matter if it's the white flag or the checkered or the yellow.
Well, what I'm saying is if they wreck on the restart, then that's the race.
Well, let's see what happens here. Pace car has gone down pit road. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, we kind of got the Kentucky Derby here, but only in Arizona and using cars instead of horses.
Here we go. Entering 3 and 4. Into the Geico restart zone, and the green flag is back out.
Man,
oh.
Abner wasted no time, and oh, look at Preby. He is all over the 62 of Severa.
That's what I'm saying. All it takes is one
him
bad bump. It takes one bad bump from Joey Preby that takes Chris's championship away.
2 laps to go.
Look at Strunk. Strunk was terrible all night long, and he is now up to 5th.
And I'm
4th,
just
actually.
sitting there on the edge of my seat, kind of watching this whole thing unfold.
This is crazy. Abner Acosta out front. Chris Severa right there on the back bumper.
Oh,
Severa
and
moves him.
Jose gets a little bit fruity there. And Jose taken out by Flores.
Look at this, though. Kenny Powell and Chris Severa are wrecking each other.
Chris Severa.
And it looks like that's what it's going to be. Chris Severa is going to be your champion for the Super Cup Series here on Saturday. Abner Acosta, of course, is your winner. Chris Severa, 2nd place. 3rd place, Joey Preby. 4th place, Ryan Strunk. 5th place, Chris Johnson, who definitely was... Him and Kenny Powell were racing each other like they don't even know each other. But he finishes 5th. Kenny Powell, yeah, I don't know. It didn't seem like they did. Kenny Powell finishes 6th place. 7th place, Thomas O'Hara. 8th place, Don Avery. 9th place, Greg Wachinski. 10th place, Josh Schaffner.
Gary Adamson comes in 11th with Brian Johnson in 12th. Frank Flores, 13th. Jose Acosta all the way back to 14th. Paul Osen in 15th. Kendall LeVron, 16th. And Darren Mullins in 17th. Hey, look, championship is in the books. Celebrations underway. We got to go take a pause for the cause to say a little bit of a shout out to our sponsors, and we'll be right back with our champion and our post-race coverage.
We play a key role in both our own future and the future of those around us.
Regardless of your age, gender,
race, or financial situation, no matter who you are or how you define yourself.
On Election Day,
officials determine policy that affects our everyday lives.
So do your research.
and know the candidates.
And make sure you are registered to vote.
Then whether early, absentee,
or in person on Election Day,
we want you to vote.
Please join us.
We want you to vote.
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, with our post-race show. After this evening's action, what a race it was. Came down to a green-white checkered. We're going to be joined in the booth here by Joey Preby, our third-place finisher. Definitely, you had a really good car today, Joey. I mean, you were fast. How you feeling?
I feel pretty good for, having a top three. And, that was, thought I was going to be wrecked on the towards the end of the race, getting everybody with those cautions getting bunched up, and just had to stay aggressive and keep the car clean, and you know finish good.
Well, you definitely did that. I mean, I know you had your hiatus a little while ago, and you came back, and you just been showing so much strength and so much speed, and you've seemed like a different driver altogether, man. I mean, great job.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like I've had better finishes and better results because of it. Changing everything.
Now, what has been the change, you think?
Uh, probably, thinking more long run, trying to save tires, not worrying about, position and just worrying about racing the track and keeping my tires good, and just watching the long run.
Well, it definitely seems like it's been working, that's for sure. I mean, definitely what a turnaround. I mean, seeing you before to now, I mean, definitely does not seem like the same person, but you started fourth here tonight. You finished third. Definitely an excellent job to you. I mean, what was some of the challenges of the racetrack here tonight?
Tire wear was and fall off was very tough. In the first and second stage, I went, forgot about tire saving and pushed hard, and then in the third stage, just fell back and started saving because just how tire wear is at these tracks and every other track, and this car, if you save, just promotes good finishes from saving.
Yeah, it definitely seems like that's the case with this car. We kind of discussed it during the broadcast, with the Gen 6. You can kind of abuse it a little bit more, but not in this car. It seems like it rewards you when you take it a little bit easier. Well, of course, I do believe next week we're going to be heading to Kansas. How you feeling about that racetrack?
Yeah, feel pretty good about Kansas. It's another mile and a half, and I tend to like the mile and a halves a lot, and feel pretty good about it.
All right, man. Well, definitely excellent job grabbing yourself a nice podium position here tonight. Can't wait to see what you bring to us at Kansas after your third place finish, though. Who can we get a big shout out to?
Vico setups for having good setups almost pretty much every single week. I don't think I've had a bad setup yet, and everyone I work with on helping me learn how to save and be a more competitive driver.
Well, definitely, they deserve a huge shout out because they have definitely made you a more competitive driver. I think that's the best thing that they definitely did that for you, man. Well, congratulations once again, and we appreciate your time, and hopefully we get a lot more chances to talk to you there, Joey.
Yep, thank you for a great podcast and great races.
All right, well, we appreciate you also. That's Joey Preby, our third place finisher. Next up, I do believe Big Al, he gets the honor to talk to our champion, Chris Severa.
Chris Severa, Big Al up in the booth. You got me.
Okay, he's speechless.
I got you.
Hey, so it's been a long run. I mean, here we are, Super Cup Series, talking to you, the Super Cup champion. And in this race, I think was probably longer than the whole season, man. So how was tire wear down there? That's the first question I'm going to ask you.
Tire wear was good. We were watching the lap times. I saw people behind us were hitting the threshold of drop off before we were. So we knew we were in a good spot there in stage 3, coming up to those green flag pit stops. I knew we could wait a little bit to go in.
Awesome. Congratulations, though, first and foremost. Sorry about that. So at which point did you know, I mean, when you know that this championship is in and up here in Phoenix, how does this track stack up on your wish list of tracks? Is this in your wheelhouse? I mean, you're Chris Severa, so you don't struggle many places, but is this a track that you felt really strong?
Yeah, Phoenix is one of my better ones, but yeah, there's plenty out there that I struggle with. We're getting a lot faster guys. A lot of people in this league are improving, so I'm learning a lot from everyone else. Kind of watching what they're doing, trying to pick up what I can. But yeah, I love the redesign of Phoenix. The turns the new one and two. You know, he's got so many different lines he can run there now. But yeah, it's a good track.
And so when this season started here many months ago, and you know, we completely different car now than what we had there now. What are your thoughts on the car now versus then? And did you think you'd have as much fun, or you not having as much fun as you thought?
It's definitely different. It's a whole lot different feel than the last car. I kind of enjoyed the last one a bit more. Still got to figure out a lot of different small things to help make the car do what I want it to do. I find myself a lot of times making an adjustment and help in the short run, but finding those more long-term adjustments, we still got to work on that.
Do you guys making a lot of adjustments here tonight, or did you just kind of get to just kind of sit back and enjoy the car?
We thought about it. I thought about lowering the rear end going into stage 3, but the car was good in 1 and 2 compared to everyone who I needed to run against. So I didn't touch a thing on it.
And you know, and then coming down to the end, as you're driving off into the sunset with the championship belt kind of hanging on over the rearview mirror, the cautions come out. You know, so at that point, it definitely, you had to go back to work. Were you just kind of wanting to get it over with, or was that just kind of, you know, did you like that the other guys were kind of getting a chance to kind of bottle it up and give the people what they wanted to see?
Yeah, that definitely raised the blood pressure a little bit there. Definitely didn't want to see the yellows. You know, I didn't think I was going to take the car to the apron in turns 1 and 2 after what I did last year here, but you know, just had to defend the inside all I could to keep it for 3 and 4. But yeah, it was a very exciting finish there. Really enjoyed every minute of it, every minute of the whole season. Yeah, it was just great. I loved it.
I'll tell you, when you go back and watch this rebroadcast, you're probably going to hear Brian Britt just saying caution like 50 times. So I think he was the one that summons that upon us. But yeah. But man, congratulations to you for just winning this championship in true championship fashion. Next week we're headed out to Kansas. Still got to get that done. What are your thoughts of going into that? Are you going to go practice, or just kind of going to sit back and enjoy this one for a little bit?
Yeah, I think we're just gonna show up to Kansas. Definitely going to take a bit more of a break after this whole Super Cup series, but yeah, Kansas is another good track. I feel like these cars were pretty good there. So, yeah, it should be another fun race.
Well, good deal, bud. Before we let you go, so you can go out there and burn it down and celebrate, who we shouting out?
Yeah, everybody in Gas and Go for all the help all season long. Fanatec, Energy Innovations, Advanced Sim Racing, Apex Sim Racing, Team Watson Racing, and you guys as always. You know, for putting on a fantastic broadcast all season long. It's always good to go back and, you know, see what else is going on in the field and, you know, see what other people are doing differently. You guys do a great job of covering that. And again, just because I can't thank the guys enough on Gas and Go for everything that they do during the whole course of the year. Again, big shout out to you guys. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, sir. Always is a pleasure.
Alrighty, that was Chris Severa, our champion here for the Super Cup season. And I think a lot of people don't realize how much of an accomplishment that really is. I mean, this is you know, 36, I do believe, plus race season that he has you know, made that journey to get here. You know, it takes a lot of time and dedication, and you know, Chris Severa deserves the crown. But we got to move on to our, you know, a little bit lesser of an accomplishment, but still, I mean, really more to come there for Abner Acosta, just considering, I mean, Abner, if you show up and you race all season next season, I think these guys might be being put on notice. You might be taking a championship crown. How you feeling, though, man? I mean, you know, seems like the car was handling just phenomenally. You were fast on the short run, the long run. It did not matter what kind of run you had to do. You were up there in front.
Felt good. I mean, first I want to say sorry for killing Kendall. I don't know. I guess coming into 3 and 4, he always braked earlier than me, and I was had like a late entry, and I figured I maybe moved enough to the left, and I guess I didn't. Once he started moving down, I just collided. So, I guess bad judgment call on my end. Definitely did not try to wreck him, but I guess that's how it played out. But yeah, the car. I think we were pretty even, me and Chris, and on short runs. And I guess at the end, maybe when I got ahead when he made the mistake on the pit stops, maybe with a dirty air that helped me out. And I think on late runs, I was just a lot faster. And with my pit strategy, I had fresher tires as well, so it didn't help. But yeah, I was close at the end though with the yellows.
Yeah, now walk us through what was going through your mind when you saw those yellows. Did you think that, hey, somebody could get up here and maybe take this win away from me?
Yeah, no, for sure. I was actually worried. I was telling my brother because I knew Chris was pretty fast, and as you can see, he almost made it work. Like if it was like a 20 lap dash or something like that, I would feel safer. But you know, those short runs, I was definitely worried, and I did make a mistake on 1 and 2, and he got on the side. I was able to make a stick at the end, but yeah, no, it was very close.
Well, you definitely took care of business. You led 117 laps here tonight out of 156, so you definitely put on a clinic. I mean, now I think if I'm not mistaken, you're at the top of the leaderboards there for the Cup Series standings. I mean, this is definitely going to be, I think, if I'm not mistaken, your 5th win. I'm trying to remember in the Cup Series, though. But I mean, you're
4th or something like that. Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to be feeling good about that. I mean, it's not a Super Cup Series championship, but a Cup Series championship, no less. I mean, you're definitely on your way towards that. I mean, how's your confidence level looking when you think about a track like Kansas? I know we've already been there recently.
Feel good about it. It's all, it's a lot. Like I've always said, it's a lot different than fixed. The fixed set here is terrible. If you try, so this actually felt a lot better. The car's not, just going crazy loose at all times. So, I guess from fixed, I really like loose sets. So like today, I tried 3 sets, and the last one was super loose, and that helped a lot. So as long as it's a track that I can get a loose set, I feel pretty confident. But of course, it's not easy. I know Chris, Kenny, and Kendall are very fast as well. So it's, anything can happen.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely, especially at a track like Kansas. I mean, definitely very difficult to pass at that place, but we look forward to seeing what you can bring out there for sure. I mean, grabbing yourself a win here. I mean, tell you what, your ratio has got to be still looking pretty dang good for how many wins you've gotten since you've joined us. We definitely appreciate you showing up here. I'd love to see, I hate to say it, I'd love to see what you could do with those guys on Thursday. I've been telling them on Thursday too, like, man, I mean, y'all got to see what Abner's able to do out there. I think you'd even be able to give Clayton Hoffman or Mark Pageant a run for their money.
It's possible. I don't think I can maintain racing on Saturdays as much. The only reason it's working now is because I have a son and all. Like I'm not out as much, but I know eventually that's gonna change. But so I maybe I can switch to Thursdays. We'll see. I know that next season my schedule's gonna look pretty busy. So yeah, I know for me Saturday is definitely not sustainable for me to do for long periods of time. So Thursdays would be. So I'll look into Thursdays and see if I decide to continue to maybe switch over. We'll see what happens.
Well, that's probably some really good news for the guys that are on this in this Saturday series. They're like, wow, yeah. Well, great job to you, Abner. Congratulations on your win, man. Who can we give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to thank to ISCA Elite Training, my brother's team, Pandereta Racing Team, my brother, you guys at the booth for broadcasting these races, and the league. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Abner, for putting on a heck of a show, and we'll see you at Kansas, hopefully.
Thank you.
That was Abner Acosta, tonight's winner definitely a great race and concludes the Super Cup season. I mean, it's been a long road, Big Al, but we're finally here.
Yep, let's just start over and do it again.
That's right, because with the ISCA, the racing never stops. But definitely can't wait for Kansas. I already know that's going to be a heck of a race. I mean, it's such a great racetrack. Looking forward to it for sure. And, you know, wrapping up 2 seasons, 2 Super Cup seasons here. I mean, we wrapped up Thursday, saw Mark Pageant grab a championship, and now Saturday we see Chris Severa with the championship. 2 different circumstances, 2 different situations, which is crazy. I mean, I say it time and time again. The Thursday series and the Saturday series are so much different. You see so many different things. A different cast of characters. I'd even say this Saturday series is a little bit more rowdy than those Thursday guys. Wouldn't you say, Big Al?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just for whatever it is, it just comes a little bit later on in the week. It just kind of hits a little bit different.
Yeah, definitely not a bad thing because a lot of times I enjoy these Saturday races sometimes more than the Thursday. I hate to say, but I mean these guys always bring it, and can't wait to see what even Thursday holds next week, and of course Saturday holds as we continue the Cup Series points here. I do believe this is concludes race number 8, so we still have just a few more races left here to crown that champion. Of course, make sure you tune in 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time both Thursday and Saturday. Race actually goes live, or not goes live, but actually goes green a little after 9:30. So make sure you tune in for that. And we appreciate everybody out there tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.